This chart shows the forecast for the demand of electric vehicles for the next few years and was presented during the news coverage of the New York International Auto Show. This chart instead was recreated from a presentation by an executive at Lithium Americas, a leading global mining company, during a presentation at the International Battery Seminar, in our opinion, the best conference in battery technology. The difference between the two charts is the one that produces a smiley face for those concerned about climate change, the other one a lot of concerns. Let's take a quick look at the two events. The New York Auto Show is not one of the big events attended by the car makers, but it does give a pulse of the auto market, in particular the market for electric vehicles. And this year the comments we heard were no doubt optimistic. Some even labeled 2023 as the year of the electric car. Attending the New York Auto Show was almost like going to a Disney amusement park, where the magic happens. Subaru was the best example of that, as the car maker had a wild display comparable to one of those immersive attractions you see at Disney World. And in talking about Disney parks, not to be outdone, Hyundai was presenting a limited edition of the Ioniq 5 Disney 100 Platinum concept car to celebrate Disney's 100th anniversary. The Ioniq 5 is a Hyundai flagship all-electric vehicle. In between these two attractions, we saw families looking at cars, kids playing with race simulators, and individuals going on rides on structures inspired by roller coasters. We are afraid of roller coasters, but we didn't have any problems in sitting on the passenger seat of a Kia EV6 that was made available to test.
0 to 60, 4.6 seconds. And this car actually has a range of between 310 and 275, just depending on if you get all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive.
Only a few weeks before the New York Auto Show, the top names in the electric battery industry, including engineers from Tesla, which is kind of rare, were in Orlando, Florida, for the International Battery Seminar. Many of the speakers produced different charts with forecasts of production for electric vehicles, and not surprisingly, in all of them the trend is upward. This slide instead is adapted from a slide presented by Lithium Americas, and it shows a scenario we saw also in other presentations. The gap right here represents how much lithium car makers need to find to produce the number of electric vehicles we saw in the forecast. And this gap even takes into consideration about 60 new mining fields that will open in the near future. This scenario is confirmed also by a report published by the Argonne National Laboratory, which is funded by the US Department of Energy. It indicates that global demand for lithium batteries is expected to surge more than fivefold by 2030. In the US, the demand for lithium batteries is expected to grow more than 6 times, which translates into $55 billion per year by the end of the decade. But still, the country is expected to depend on imports for supply. We will give more details about this conference in upcoming videos, so if interested, this is a good time to hit the subscribe button. For the moment, in the spirit of the family-friendly atmosphere of the New York Auto Show, let's focus on the positive points of view. Together with lithium, also cobalt, nickel and graphite are experiencing a surge on demand because of the electric vehicles, and so companies and countries that supply these materials have reasons to celebrate. These happy places include the countries like Australia, Chile and Argentina, which are the largest suppliers of lithium. Most of the world's cobalt supply instead comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo, a country that is often in the news for political instability and human rights issues, but that lately has also been praised for its economic growth and the improvement in the standard of living. These improvements are largely due to investments and new jobs in the mining, agriculture and infrastructure sectors. As for the companies, Albemarle and Lithium Americas that we mentioned before are among the largest producers, But also companies like Linde or Livent are large groups that were at the battery conference, presenting their considerable assets and big projects for the future. And this is the bin that Redwood Materials, in collaboration with German car manufacturer Audi, placed around the Javis convention centers and in many other locations around the country. Recycling batteries is seen as one of the solutions to reduce the gap between demand and supply. But the batteries in electric vehicles on the road today, for the most part, have not reached the end of their life yet. According to research from the Argonne National Laboratory, it will take more than 20 years before we can reach a true circular economy. That is, an economy in which new batteries are produced by recycling old batteries. From the same slide presented at the battery seminar by Argonne Lab, we can see that for the first 10 or 15 years, the quantity of scrap will be way more than the quantity of material coming back from recycling. And in fact, processing scrap is what is helping the new plants to start operations, until the electric vehicle batteries start reaching the end of life and start being returned. One thing that also emerged from these presentations is the lack of data regarding batteries recycling, so the scenarios we presented could happen sooner or later. But from listening to multiple speakers, we got the impression that the industry agrees on these timelines.
So this is going to operate like a regular hybrid, you're getting upwards of 53 miles to the gallon, but in addition to that, it's a plug-in, partial plug-in hybrid, so you're looking upwards of 44-mile all-electric range. You got the gas tank on this side, then of course the plug on the other side. You can plug it into any standard 110, it's going to just take a few hours, and again, you're going to get a 44-mile